and very good day everyone. Welcome to our Pedagogy online forum. Today we will be diving into topic 3, active learning strategy for effective teaching. This topic is critical, especially in today's educational landscape where student-centered learning is becoming more essential than ever. My name is Shafiq and I will be your moderator throughout this session. Thank you for being here. And we hope this forum will be informative, insightful, and inspiring for all of us. Let me first introduce to our 5 panelists who will be sharing their knowledge and perspective. Panelist 1, Ira, exploring active learning technique. Afif, benefit on student engagement and critical thinking. Ashman, implementing active learning. Ika, challenge in adapting active learning, and Sharul, solution and recommendation. Let's begin by inviting each panelist to brief share their view based on their subtopic. Each speaker will have approx 3 to 5 minutes. After all panelists have presented, we will proceed to an interactive discussion. Let's begin with our first panelist, Ira. Ira, could you start us off by exploring what active learning really is and share with us some of the common techniques used in classroom?
Assalamualaikum and greetings to the moderator and all the panel members. I am Shahira as panel 1, and for this session I will share about active learning technique that can be used to make teaching more effective and student-centered. What is active learning? Active learning is an effort in learning activities that tries to develop student activity when it implies the involvement of all of the students since during the learning and teaching process. This is because students do not just sit, listen, see or take note, but it also implies student involvement actively, interact, think critically, discuss in each student is also responsible for their own learning. There are several purposes for this active learning, such as to increase critical and analytical thinking, develop interpersonal and collaborative skills, create student-centered learning, and increase retention and understanding of knowledge. Not only that, there are several important figures in the field of active learning who have contributed significantly through their theories, approaches, and research. These figures include John Dewey with his philosophy of experiential learning, Jean Piaget with his theory of cognitive development, and Lev Vygotsky with his theory of socio-constructivism. Next, for this example of learning technique, the first is group discussion, where students will discuss in small group about a topic. Through this discussion, communication and collaboration skills can be indirectly built. The second is problem-based learning, where students are given a real situation or problem and they need to analyze, find a solution, and present the result. This technique is very suitable for encouraging critical and analytical thinking. The third is collaborative learning, where students work in groups to complete assignment or project. This can also increase team spirit and sharing of ideas. The fourth is inquiry-based learning, where students will explore and investigate a topic in depth, and the teacher only acts as a facilitator. The fifth is debate, where students present arguments and defend their views on a topic. Through this debate, it can increase a deep understanding of the issues and strengthen logical thinking skills. Finally, there is project-based learning, where students will carry out a project in stage and solve real problems, and this technique is suitable for connecting theory and practice. Therefore, for Sustainable Development Goal 4, namely Quality Education or SDG 4, is about quality education. The full title of SDG 4 is Ensure Inclusive and Equitable Quality Education and Promote Lifelong Learning Opportunities for all. SDG 4 is closely related to quality education through three aspects. The first one is of which inclusivity, where techniques such as collaborative learning and group discussion allow every student, regardless of achievement level, to participate actively according to diverse learning needs. Second, equity, and this approach provides space for all students to voice their views and access learning opportunities fairly, not just depending on academic achievement alone. And finally, there is lifelong learning, which is techniques such as project-based learning and PBL teach students research skills, problem solving, and collaboration, which are essential for continuous learning throughout life. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Shaira. Now let's hear from Afif, who will talk about the benefit of active learning, especially in changing student engagement and critical thinking. The floor is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and thank you to moderator. Greetings to all panelists. When we talk about active learning, it is more than just a teaching method. It is a mindset shift in how we engage students in the learning process. Rather than positioning students as passive recipients of information, active learning transforms them into co-creators of knowledge. Let's begin with student engagement. In traditional lecture-based setting, many students tend to disengage. They may take notes, but their mind often wander. Active learning changes that. When we use techniques like group discussion, problem-solving tasks, role-playing, and case studies, students become more involved. They ask to participate, to question, and to contribute. This interaction creates a dynamic learning environment where students are more focused, motivated, and invested in their own learning. For example, something as simple as a think, pair, share activity can ignite participation among even the quietest students. When learners are asked to reflect, share, and compare ideas, they build confidence and feel that their voices matter. This kind of engagement helps students feel ownership over what they learn, and that leads to better retention and academic performance. Now, let's move to critical thinking. One of the most valuable outcomes of active learning is how it fosters analytical and evaluate skills. Instead of just memorizing facts for exams, students are asked to analyze problems with evidence, defend their opinions, and consider alternative viewpoints. These are essential skills, not just for exams, but for life, work, and citizenship. For instance, in a science class, rather than simply learning about an individual and environmental issue, students could be tasked with proposing suitable solutions based on real-world data. This process encourages them to ask deeper questions, make connections, and consider the consequences of their ideas. That is critical thinking in action. Moreover, research consistently supports this benefit. A 2014 meta-analysis published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Science found that students in active learning environment had significantly better outcome compared to those in traditional lecture-based classes. Their performance better in assessment and were less likely to fail. In short, active learning strategies make students more engaged, more curious, and more capable of independent thinking. These are the learners we want to nurture, not just for school success, but for future challenges in a rapidly changing world. That's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Afif. Moving on, we have Ashma who will share how active learning can be applied across different subjects and educational level. Please go ahead.
Okay, thanks to moderator and good morning to all panels. Today I'd like to share a comprehensive reflection on how we can effectively implement active learning strategies across different subjects and educational levels with the aim of fulfilling Sustainable Development Goal (SDG 4), which advocate for inclusive, equitable, and quality education for all and promotes lifelong learning opportunities. First is active learning at the primary level. At the primary school level, young learners are naturally curious and respond exceptionally well to experiential and play-based learning. This stage is crucial for laying the foundation of a child's attitude and towards learning. Implementing active learning here involves incorporating storytelling, role-playing, arts integration, and hands-on activities. For example, language lesson can be enriched with dramatized storytelling or puppet shows, which not only enhance vocabulary and comprehension, but also build confidence and communication skills. In science, simple experiments like growing plants or observing insects allow children to engage directly with the material world. This tactile and sensory activity cater to diverse learning styles, especially kinesthetic and visual learning, making educational more inclusive and enjoyable. Additionally, this approach helps nurture curiosity, empathy, and social interaction, all of which are key elements of holistic primary education. For active learning in secondary education, as students transition to the secondary level, their cognitive abilities mature and they become more capable of abstract and critical thinking. This opens the door for more structured and intellectually engaging active learning strategies. Techniques such as group discussion, cooperative learning, simulation, debates, and project-based learning are particularly effective. For instance, in a geography lesson, students collaborate to design models of sustainable cities, integrating knowledge of urban planning, environmental issues, and social responsibility. Similarly, in history, students can reenact significant events or take part in historical debates, allowing them to analyze multiple perspectives and build empathy. These methods not only increase subject retention but also promote 21st century skills like teamwork, communication, and problem solving. Furthermore, active learning in secondary school supports student agency, empowering learners to take initiative and become active participants in their own educational journey. This directly aligns with SDG 4 calls for relevant and effective learning outcomes. For the third year level or higher educational level, the focus of active learning shifts towards autonomous inquiry, critical reflection, and interdisciplinary integration. University students are expected to engage more independently with content, and as such, strategy like the flipped classroom, peer teaching, Socratic questioning, and case study analysis become especially relevant in disciplines like law, medicine, or business, analyzing real-life scenarios and engaging in problem-based learning helps students connect theoretical knowledge with practical application. These strategies also encourage lifelong learning, a fundamental pillar of SDG 4, by promoting self-motivation, information literacy, and adaptability, skills essential in our ever-changing global society. Addressing implementation challenges. While the benefits of active learning are well documented, implementation does come with challenges. Time constraints, limited resources, rigid curricula, and large class size are among the common barriers faced by educators. To overcome, the school and teacher can adopt a gradual integration approach. This might involve starting with simple yet impactful strategies like think, pay, share, exit tickets, interactive question. Active learning as a catalyst for quality education. In essence, active learning transforms classroom into dynamic, inclusive, and student-centered environment. It aligns perfectly with the principle of SDG 4 by ensuring that all students, regardless of background or learning style, can participate meaningfully in the learning process. Through varied and adaptable strategies, we can cultivate not just knowledgeable students but curious, collaborative, and critical thinkers prepared to contribute to a sustainable future. Thank you.
Thank you, Asma. Next, we invite Pika to discuss the common challenges that educators face when trying to adapt active learning in their classroom.
Okay, thank you, the moderator. On behalf of Panel 4, I will focusing on the topic challenges in adopting active learning. Active learning has gained widespread attention as a student-centered approach that encourages deeper understanding, critical thinking, and better engagement. However, while the benefits are clear, many educators still face significant barriers when trying to implement active learning in real classroom setting. Now I will elaborate this on 5 key challenges. The first challenge is attitude of teachers and students. This is one of the biggest hurdles is mindset and attitude among the teachers. As we all know, many teachers have been trained or more familiar with traditional lecture-based method, so they might feel that active learning is risky to be implemented, time-consuming or difficult to manage. Some fear losing control of the classroom or believe that students might not take the activity seriously. On the other hand, students may not be used to being active participants in their own learning. In some education systems, students are conditioned to listen, memorize, and reproduce information in exam. So when they are asked to think critically, work in teams, or speak up in discussion, they may feel anxious, uncertain, or unmotivated. Changing this mindset requires time, support, and consistent practice. The second challenge is time constraint. Planning and execution need a limited time to be implemented. For example, designing a meaningful active learning activities such as debate, role play, or case study often requires extra preparation compared to traditional lessons. Teachers need to create material, organize group, and anticipate classroom management issues. Furthermore, during actual teaching, active learning typically takes longer than delivering a lecture. For example, giving students time to explore a problem, discuss, and present takes up more classroom minutes. This becomes a problem when teachers feel pressure to finish the syllabus or prepare students for standardized exam. The lack of time can discourage teachers from experimenting with active learning strategies. The third challenge is managing active learning in large classrooms. For example, when you have 40 or more more students in a single class, it becomes difficult to ensure that everyone is involved. Teachers may struggle to monitor multiple groups at once, provide feedback, and keep noise level under control. In such environment, some students may dominate the activity while others stay passive. It becomes harder to assess individual contribution, and the teacher may feel overwhelmed trying to juggle classroom control with facilitating active tasks. This situation often leads to frustration, and teachers may choose to revert to lecture, which feel more manageable in large groups. The fourth challenge is the lack of resources and facilities, especially in underprivileged or rural schools. Active learning often relies on access to material, whether physical tools, printed worksheet, or digital platform. Unfortunately, some schools may not have projector, stable internet access, or even enough space to carry out group work comfortably. Without proper support or teaching aids, active learning can feel impractical, especially for new or less experienced teachers. This digital divide creates an inequality where some students benefit from engaging learning environment while others are left behind. So for the last challenge is there is the issue of assessing learning outcome in active learning environment. As we all know, traditional exams are easy to mark and standardize, but how do we measure creativity, collaboration, or problem solving? They are essential 21st century skills, but they require different form of evaluation, such as rubric, peer review, self-assessment, or project presentation. Many teachers may not be trained in alternative assessment methods. It also takes extra time to observe, record, and track these outcomes fairly. As a result, active learning may be undervalued or avoided, especially in schools that focus heavily on test performance. Okay, to summarize that I've been stated so far, while active learning offers enormous potential, its implementation is not without challenges. From teacher and student attitude, time limitation, class size, lack to the resources, and assessment complexity, there are real issues that must be addressed with care. To move forward, we must provide ongoing professional development, ensure schools are equipped with the right tools, and rethink how we measure learning success. By doing so, we can make active learning not just a trend, but sustainable, inclusive, and effective approach for every classroom. That's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And finally, we will welcome Cheryl to wrap up the panel sharing by offering solution and recommendation to overcome those challenges and promote effective implementation. Please share your thoughts.
Thank you to the moderator. And I would like to take a moment to highlight the overall roles of active learning strategy, particularly collaborative tasks in enhancing student engagement, promoting critical thinking, and supporting the broader goal of lifelong learning as a richer and sustainable development goal, which calls for inclusive equality, quality education, and lifelong learning opportunity for all. Active learning shifts the focus for teacher-centered deliver lifelong lecture and oral memorization. The student-centered experience in guide learner to perspectively think deeply and make connection between what they learn and how it applies to the world around them. Which make turning students from passive retriever of knowledge and active explore thinking and problem solving. For instance, instead of simply presenting lots of scientific facts or environmental statistics, a teacher might engage students in project-based learning activity, such as design of a model of an eco-friendly home using recycled materials. And in this activity, students don't just memorize information, they apply it. They consider real-world challenges like sustainability, energy efficiency, and waste management. They collaborate with peers, evaluate questions, and present their ideas creatively. This real-world relevance makes learning more meaningful, memorable, and motivating. But the benefit go beyond academic content. This kind of learning experience also foster soft skills like teamwork, communication, adaptability, and leadership. These are skills students will take with them into adulthood, into the workforce, and their roles as citizens. In this sense, active learning don't just serve students during their school, it prepares them for lifelong learning, which is exactly what SDG 4 advocates for. Another important aspect is inclusivity when students are given different ways to engage. Through role play, group discussion, debates, and hands-on projects or peer teaching, it creates opportunity for diverse learners to share. Some students who may struggle in traditional lecture setting might thrive when they are allowed to express their understanding through performance, collaboration, and all-pressure. This flexibility respects multiple learning style and help make education more inclusive and exclusive, reaching students who are often overlooked in origin. However, it's important to recognize that active learning is not without challenge, and one of the biggest challenges is implementation, especially in the classroom. There are large or under-resourced. The issue is just about adopting active learning strategy. It's about using them effectively and sustainability. To do this well, teachers need more than just encouragement. They need ongoing professional development, access to teaching resources, and enough time to plan and reflect. Without this support, even the most enthusiastic teacher may find it difficult to integrate active learning consistently or confidently into their lesson. Because if we serious about achieving the goal of SDG 4, we need to be just as committed to empowering our teacher as we are to inspiring our students. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon. Thank you to all panelists for your valuable insight. I would like to open the floor to some follow-up question. Sharon, are our students truly ready to embrace the active learning approach fully? If not, what initial step can we take to help prepare them?
One effective first step is to include reflection after each session. Ask students what they learned, how they felt, or what challenged them. This helps them realize the value of active learning and build witness over time.
Okay, thank you, Sharon. Now we have come to the end of our forum. Today's discussion has highlighted not only the value of active learning, but also the challenges and how we can work together to overcome them. Thank you once again to our wonderful panelists, Ira, Afif, Ajmal, Pika, and Sharon. Thank you to all everyone who joined us today. May the session inspire to all of us to make our classroom more active, engaging, and student focused. With that, I now officially close this session. Assalamualaikum and have a wonderful day.